There are certain feelings, certain memories that seem to echo from nowhere. They visit us in dreams or come rushing in when we meet someone for the first time and feel something ancient stir inside our chest. A longing, a recognition, a quiet knowing that we have loved before, but not here, not now, somewhere else, some other time. This idea that we carry imprints from lifetimes we no longer consciously remember has been explored deeply by the late Dolores Cannon, a pioneer in past life regression and metaphysical exploration. Over decades of hypnosis-based research, Dolores uncovered thousands of case studies suggesting that the soul chooses not only the time, place, and circumstances of its incarnation, but also the people it will meet, the souls it will love, and even the pain it will face. She taught that we are not victims of chance, but creators of design, architects of soul contracts written before birth, love, heartbreak, transformation, none of it random, all of it chosen. And so we begin here, with a sensation that doesn't quite belong to this life, a thread that feels like it's woven from somewhere beyond time. Have you ever met someone and felt like they were waiting for you before you were born? Have you ever stood in a place you've never visited, yet felt the ground welcome you like an old friend? These are soul memories, not the kind your brain can recall, but the kind your soul never forgot. We open this journey by acknowledging that what we feel is often more ancient than what we can explain. We are multidimensional beings, carrying echoes of lifetimes and loves that have shaped who we are now. Dolores Cannon often said, "We are not here to learn, we are here to remember." And what do we remember first? Love, not the kind shaped by fairy tales or fleeting romance, but the kind that transcends physical form, the kind that is encoded into our being like a sacred promise, a vow made on the other side before we crossed the veil into this world. This is why you sometimes ache for no reason, why your heart pulls towards someone you've just met, as if the reunion had already been written in the stars. It's not madness, it's memory, and it doesn't belong to this life alone. Dolores called this the pre-birth planning, a realm where souls gather with guides, soul groups, and even karmic partners to map out the blueprint of their coming incarnation. In that space, choices are made, lessons are accepted, encounters are arranged, and love is always at the center of it. Not just romantic love, but the sacred love of challenge, of growth, of separation and reunion. Even those who break us were often the ones we chose to help us evolve. So as we begin this journey together, I invite you to sit with that one question. What if the love that shaped you the most didn't start here? What if your soul remembers something your mind is just now beginning to awaken to? Because maybe, just maybe, before you were born, you didn't just choose your life. You chose to love this way. And that changes everything. They say that before we are born, there is a meeting, not with people, but with souls, a quiet gathering beyond the veil where we sit at the edge of incarnation and look ahead at the life we're about to enter. It's not a random choice, it's a sacred plan. There, in that timeless space, we don't speak in words. We speak in intention, in vibration. We ask questions like, what do I want to learn this time? What wounds do I still carry? What kind of love do I need to experience to grow? And then, like gentle echoes, other souls appear. Some we've known for lifetimes, some we've loved deeply. Others we may have hurt, or they hurt us. But all of them show up with one purpose, to help us evolve. These are soul contracts. They are not physical documents or rules. They are silent, spiritual agreements between souls. promises made in the light before entering the density of this world. Some are soft and nurturing, the parent who gives you safety, the friend who walks with you through every season. Others are more difficult, the partner who leaves you, the one who challenges your worth, the person who triggers your deepest pain. But none of them appear by accident. Dolores Cannon's work with past life regression revealed this over and over again. People under deep hypnosis would describe pre-birth scenes where they chose the souls who would become their family, lovers, even their enemies, all for a reason, all to complete unfinished lessons, to balance karma, to expand consciousness. Sometimes the ones we love the most in this life were the ones we once hurt in another, or the ones who hurt us then, are now offering us a chance to heal, to forgive, to rewrite the story. These contracts are rarely easy, because growth is rarely comfortable, but they are always loving, even when they appear as pain. And this is where everything begins to shift. When you realize that the person who broke your heart may have loved you enough on a soul level to play that role, just to wake you up. When you see that the struggle you've been through wasn't punishment, but preparation. Of course, none of this justifies abuse or excuses harmful behavior. Boundaries are sacred. Self-love is essential. But it invites a new perspective, one where you are not a victim of your life, but a participant in its creation. Soul contracts remind us that love isn't always soft. Sometimes it arrives as loss. Sometimes it demands change. But beneath it all, there is a deeper wisdom unfolding. A choreography of souls dancing through lifetimes, choosing again and again to meet, to challenge, to awaken one another. And in the quiet spaces of your heart, when you pause long enough to feel, you might recognize it. That strange familiarity, that unexplainable pull, as the echo of an ancient agreement, an invisible thread still holding its promise. Because somewhere beyond this life, you chose them, and they chose you. For love, for growth, for remembrance. What if the life you're living now was not assigned to you, but chosen by you? Before birth, the soul stands before a kind of cosmic mirror. In it, it sees not just the reflection of what it has been, but also the possibilities of what it could become. And from that space of expanded awareness, it begins to design its next journey. Not randomly, not impulsively, but with clarity and intention. The soul chooses where it will be born, the land, the culture, the time, but more importantly, it chooses the people, the family, the mother and father, the siblings if there are any, even the absence of them, because every piece of that puzzle holds meaning, even the ones that seem painful or unfair. You didn't pick your life because it would be easy. You picked it because it would shape you. Dolores Cannon's sessions often revealed stories of souls who selected very difficult family situations. Abandonment, loss, rejection, even abuse. To the conscious mind, this sounds cruel or impossible to justify. But from the soul's perspective, these experiences were not seen as suffering for the sake of pain, but as catalysts, accelerators, opportunities for profound growth. The soul does not fear difficulty the way the human mind does. It sees beyond one lifetime. It chooses with the wisdom of eternity. That's why some people are born into loving homes and others into chaos. It's not a judgment, it's a lesson plan. And no two are ever the same. Some choose soft beginnings, others choose fire. Some arrive to heal ancestral wounds, others to awaken dormant strength. Some are here to experience forgiveness, others to learn how to walk away. Even the roles we play for each other in the family system are layered with purpose. The parent who couldn't love you the way you needed might have agreed on a soul level to challenge you to find that love within yourself. The sibling rivalry, the family secrets, the deep sense of not belonging, all of it might be pointing you toward your own power, your own voice, your own healing path. It's easy to feel like a victim of circumstance, to believe life happened to you. But when you begin to see it from the soul's eye, everything shifts. That pain you carry may not be punishment. It may be part of a contract you wrote before you arrived, a sacred challenge you accepted with courage. And that doesn't mean you have to accept suffering passively. Quite the opposite. It means you can begin to reclaim your power, to recognize the patterns, to choose differently. Because if you chose this life, it means you also chose the tools to navigate it. Your family, your pain, your destiny, they are not separate. They are threads in the same tapestry. And maybe, just maybe, every tear you've cried was not a sign of failure, but a step toward remembering why you came, not to be broken, but to rise. Some people enter your life like a soft breeze, others like a storm. Both are sacred. There are souls we meet who feel familiar from the first glance. A sense of calm, safety, or deep resonance surrounds them. These are often soulmates, companions from previous incarnations who return to walk ao lado again. They may come as lovers, friends, mentors, or even strangers who cross our path briefly, but leave a lasting imprint. Soulmates are not always romantic. They are recognizable by the way they make us feel seen, understood, supported. The bond flows naturally. There is often little drama, but a quiet sense of rightness. They help us heal, learn, and remember who we are at a deeper level. Their presence feels like a homecoming. But then, there are the others, the ones who shake everything, the ones who arrive not to comfort, but to awaken. These are often what we call twin flames, two expressions of the same soul, split and sent on different journeys, destined to meet again in the physical world to ignite remembrance. It's not a fairy tale. It's not about perfection or endless bliss. It's raw, intense, confrontational, because the purpose of the twin flame is not to complete you. It is to reveal you. When a twin flame enters your life, they mirror back everything that is unresolved. Your wounds, your fears, your resistance to love. It's not to harm you, but to help you transcend the illusions you've built around yourself. The connection is magnetic, undeniable, and often unpredictable. You may run, they may run, but the thread remains. Dolores Cannon's regression work touched this territory in many forms. Her clients often spoke of profound spiritual connections with certain souls, connections that defied logic or timeline, encounters that felt destined, encounters that catalyzed massive personal transformation. Whether through harmony or chaos, these meetings had a higher purpose. Twin flames are not here to give you peace. They are here to break the shell around your soul so that your light can expand. But not all great loves are twin flames, and not all twin flames become life partners. Sometimes the greatest spiritual love stories unfold in brief encounters that change everything. Sometimes they never find full union in this lifetime, because the purpose was awakening, not attachment. Understanding the difference between soulmates and twin flames is less about labeling the relationship and more about recognizing what it activates within you. Does it ground you or shake you? Does it nurture you or ignite you? Does it bring harmony or truth? Each has its sacred role. Each arrives with a lesson your soul asked to learn. So when love comes, in any form, ask not if it will last. Ask what it came to teach. Because whether soft or storm, familiar or fiery, love always leads us back to ourselves. No one teaches us how to survive the loss of a love that once felt eternal. We're taught how to fall in love, how to dream with another person, how to build futures in the language of promises. But when that love fades or disappears without warning, we are left with a silence that echoes louder than any goodbye. And yet, what if that pain wasn't just something to endure, but something the soul needed? Love has the power to awaken us, but sometimes it's the loss of love that awakens us even more. According to Dolores Cannon's body of work, heartbreak is not a mistake or a punishment. It's often a chosen experience, a soul agreement made before birth. The very people who break our hearts may be the same souls who promised long ago to help us grow in a way that only heartbreak could make possible. Not all love stories are meant to last forever. Some are meant to crack us open, to shatter the illusions we built about who we are, about what love should look like, and about what we think we need to feel whole. Heartbreak pulls us inward. It strips us bare, and in that vulnerable state, we are given a rare opportunity to meet ourselves again without distraction, without dependency, without the comfort of someone else's presence. Pain, especially the pain of lost love, is one of the fastest ways to return to our essence. Because in that space, the space where we feel most broken, something ancient within us begins to stir. We remember that our worth was never tied to the one who left, that our wholeness was never dependent on the one who didn't choose us back, and that the love we gave was never wasted. It was simply returned to us in the form of wisdom. The soul doesn't see heartbreak as failure. It sees it as transformation. Sometimes, the person who hurt you the most loved you enough on a soul level to play that role. They came not to destroy you, but to trigger the very healing your soul came here to experience. This doesn't mean we excuse harmful behavior. It doesn't mean we stay in pain or glorify suffering, but it offers a different lens, one where pain has meaning, and healing becomes an act of remembering your divine resilience. When love hurts, it's not because you are broken, it's because something within you is breaking open. And through those cracks, the truth of who you are begins to shine through. Heartbreak is not the end of love. It's the beginning of deeper love, the kind that starts within. And sometimes, that's exactly what your soul came here to learn. Have you ever felt something guiding you, even when everything around you seemed uncertain? A sudden dream that felt more real than waking life. A familiar face in a stranger's eyes, a number that keeps repeating. A voice in your heart saying, "You've been here before." These are not coincidences. They are reminders, echoes from a place you once knew before you were born, before the veil of forgetfulness covered the truth of your origin. These are signs from beyond the veil, calling you to remember what your soul chose long ago. In the space between lives, the soul is fully aware. It sees clearly. It knows why it's coming, who it will meet, and the lessons it's ready to experience. But when the soul enters the physical body, it passes through the veil, and with it, forgets. That forgetting is not a flaw. It's part of the journey. The beauty of human life lies in remembering who we are from within the illusion of separation. Dolores Cannon often spoke of this forgetting and of the moments when the soul begins to awaken, to remember its path, its contracts, its purpose. These moments are often triggered by signs, not loud or dramatic, but subtle, personal, precise. You might be drawn to a place you've never visited and feel like you're returning. You might meet someone and feel an unexplainable connection, as if you've known them across centuries. You may notice synchronicities piling up, nudging you toward a decision, a truth, a turning point. These signs come when the soul is ready to remember. And when they appear, it's not the universe speaking for the first time. It's you, your higher self, reaching through the layers of illusion to say, "This is familiar. This is part of the path you chose." Remembering is not always sudden. Sometimes it comes in fragments, in feelings, in moments of stillness, in tears that don't seem to belong to this lifetime. But the more you pay attention, the clearer the thread becomes, and that thread leads back to something sacred, your original choice. The life you're living now is not an accident. The people you've loved, the pain you've endured, the passions that call to you. They are all part of a map you once designed, and the signs from beyond the veil are here to guide you back to that map. You chose to come here. You chose to love, to lose, to grow. You chose this exact moment in time. And when you begin to remember that, everything shifts. Life becomes less about surviving and more about listening, less about fear and more about trust. Because somewhere deep within, your soul remembers. And the signs, they are simply helping you find your way home. There are moments in life that stop time, and suddenly your heart is wide open. Without warning, without reason, something ancient stirs inside of you. It's not logic, it's not memory, it's recognition. The heart has seen this soul before, long before this life began. While the mind questions, analyzes, and tries to make sense of it all, the heart simply knows. It remembers what the mind has forgotten, the connection, the energy, the unfinished stories written in other lifetimes. We've all felt it, even if we didn't have the words. That deep pull towards someone we've just met, that comfort in a stranger's presence, that feeling of finding home in someone's eyes. These are not accidents, they are echoes, the soul remembering its own truth. Dolores Cannon spoke often about soul recognition. Under hypnosis, her clients would recall lifetimes shared with those they encountered in this one. A partner, a child, a friend, even someone they had barely known. These recognitions were not imagination. They were real. Because the soul does not forget. It only waits for the right moment to awaken the heart again. When the heart recognizes, it doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for evidence. It speaks in feeling, in intuition, in the way your breath catches, without knowing why. It tells you, quietly but firmly, you've been here before. You've loved here before. This kind of knowing can be confusing. The mind wants answers. It wants definitions, explanations, guarantees. But the soul operates outside of time. And sometimes, the people we meet now are part of a story that began long ago, in a place the conscious mind cannot reach. Recognition doesn't always mean permanence. Some souls return just to remind you of who you are, to ignite something that's been sleeping, to mirror a truth you've buried. Others return to walk with you again, to continue a love that never truly ended. And sometimes, that recognition is the start of something life-changing. You begin to see that love isn't always logical, that some bonds exist beyond time, beyond distance, beyond reason. And in that moment, when your heart leaps before your mind can catch up, you touch something sacred. You remember that not all love stories begin here. Some are simply continuing. So the next time you feel that unshakable pull, the next time your heart whispers, "I know you," but your mind says, "That makes no sense," trust the heart. Because long before this life began, long before names, faces, or circumstances, you already knew. And now, you're just remembering what was never truly forgotten. Love is powerful, but when entangled with attachment, it can become something else entirely. A silent ache, a need, a clinging to something or someone for safety, for identity, for worth. Attachment says, "I need you to stay so I can feel whole." Love in its purest form says, "I see you, I honor you, even if you must go." Many of us learn to love through fear. Fear of losing, fear of being alone, fear of not being chosen. We confuse possession with connection. We believe that if someone leaves, the love disappears. But true love is not ownership, it's presence without demand. Healing begins when we become aware of this difference. Dolores Cannon often spoke of relationships as spiritual contracts, not meant to complete us, but to awaken us. Some souls come into our lives to stay, others come only to open a door inside of us. But whether they remain or walk away, the invitation is always the same: to love without losing ourselves. Awareness brings space. It allows us to feel without being consumed, to love deeply but not desperately, to hold someone's hand without gripping it in fear. This is not coldness, it's clarity. It's loving from a place of fullness, not emptiness. When we are unaware, we place our healing in someone else's hands. We wait for them to fix, to choose, to save. But when we become aware, we see that love was never meant to be a rescue. It was meant to be a reflection. Every connection shows us something about ourselves, what we're afraid of, what we long for, what we believe we deserve. Through awareness, we can love more honestly. We can say, "I want you in my life, but I don't need you to make me whole." We can see another not as our missing piece, but as a fellow traveler, someone walking beside us, not carrying us. This kind of love heals because it frees. It allows space for change, for growth, for truth. It recognizes that love is not static. It evolves. And sometimes, the most loving thing we can do is let go, not out of bitterness, but out of respect for the path each soul must walk. When we love with awareness, we stop asking, "How can I keep this?" and start asking, "How can I honor this?" We stop chasing love that doesn't return. We stop holding on to what hurts. We learn to trust the flow, to rest in the knowing that what is truly meant for us cannot be forced. And what leaves is not punishment, but guidance. To love without attachment is to love bravely. It is to feel deeply and still be free. And in that freedom, healing begins, because awareness doesn't close the heart. It opens it wider, with gentleness, with grace, with truth. Somewhere beyond time, beyond form, beyond fear, you stood as a soul, whole and radiant, and chose love. Not the easy kind, not the kind that comes wrapped in promises and perfection, but the kind that shapes you, that tests you, that sometimes breaks you wide open. You chose love knowing it might hurt. You chose certain people, certain moments, certain goodbyes, not because you wanted to suffer, but because you trusted yourself to grow through them. That's the part we forget. We don't remember the courage it took to come here, to leave the realm of knowing and step into the realm of feeling, to forget what we are so we could remember it through contrast, through touch, through loss, through longing. And still, you came. Still, you opened your heart again and again, even when it didn't make sense, even when the pain threatened to close you down, even when the love you gave wasn't returned the way you hoped. That was never failure. It was never weakness. It was your soul keeping its promise. Love is never wasted. It moves, it teaches, it transforms. Every heartbreak carved space for more depth. Every ending whispered a deeper truth. Every time you thought you were broken, you were being rebuilt, not smaller, but stronger, more open, more real. Dolores Cannon reminded us that we choose our experiences, even the painful ones, from a place of divine wisdom. The soul doesn't fear being broken because it knows that nothing true can be lost. It knows that every crack is a place where more light can enter. So if you're still healing, if part of your heart feels tender or unfinished, know this: you are not behind, you are not lost, you are becoming. And more than anything, remember this: you chose love, not because it would be easy, but because it would wake you up. And it did, even if it broke you. It also brought you back to yourself. And that was always the point. If this message stirred something deep within you, if a part of your soul feels like it's remembering what it once chose to forget, then stay with us. Subscribe to the channel, share this video with someone whose heart needs to hear it, and let us continue this journey, together, awake and remembering. Your soul came here for a reason. Let's walk each step with intention. Turn on the notifications. Your next message may arrive when you need it most.